What a trade deadline! We saw title contenders raid the market for defensive reinforcements while a couple of fading teams ripped it down to the studs. If you care about who's actually ready to win the Lombardi and who just bought themselves a rebuild, well, you're in the right place. We are grading every deadline swing from the midweek Eagles shopping spree to the Jets' day of fire sale, and taking a long, hard look at both sides of every single one of these deals. So, without further ado, let us take a look back at the wild trade deadline that was and deliver grades to all the teams involved. Baltimore Ravens and Philadelphia Eagles. Ravens receive 2026 6th round pick and Eagles receive CB Jair Alexander and a 2027 7th round pick. Baltimore Ravens, grade B-. This was a curious one for the Ravens, though considering what a disappointment Jair Alexander has been, it's no wonder they trimmed a crowded corner room by shipping the bench-bound vet and a 2027 7th to Philly for a 2026 6th, preserving cap space for contributors actually seeing snaps. So to put it into context, Alexander logged only 61 snaps so far this year, with essentially zero impact. So cashing out on a short-term flyer before his deal escalates is cold but smart business. It's not flashy, but it's exactly how Baltimore keeps themselves relevant every single season. When you are one of the most consistent franchises in football, these tiny little transactions are your secret weapon. Philadelphia Eagles, grade B+. Granted, this one is contingent on being able to shake something loose in the aging core, but still, the Eagles added a two-time Pro Bowler for a late pick, stacking veteran savvy behind Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean while keeping the locker room battle-tested for a playoff run. If Alexander regains form, then they've added meaningful depth to the defense. If not, the downside is negligible. It's classic Howie Roseman. Buy low, bet on pedigree, and let the locker room do the rest. Every contender needs a guy who's been through the wars, and Alexander brings that edge without touching any meaningful assets. A very worthy gamble. Miami Dolphins and Philadelphia Eagles. Dolphins receive 2026 3rd round pick and Eagles receive edge Jalen Phillips. Miami Dolphins, grade B-. In a lost season, Miami flips Jalen Phillips to Philly for a 2026 3rd rounder, turning an oft-injured former first rounder into clean capital for a roster reset. With 26 sacks in 55 games, but just 3 in 9 games this season after multiple rehabs, the Dolphins choose cap relief and a youth-focused edge rotation over waiting on another comeback. It's a bittersweet move. Phillips had flashes that screamed star potential, but the injuries kept dragging him back to earth. Miami's front office clearly decided that potential is not enough, especially with where their season is at and the franchise staring down a serious rebuild, and likely a new coaching regime. Philadelphia Eagles, grade A-. Vic Fangio reunites with Phillips, betting that the coach who coaxed 6.5 sacks out of the edge rusher in 8 games back in 2023 can revive a pass rush tied for only 16 sacks through 8 games in 2025. For the price of a 3rd rounder, Philly adds disruptive upside to a defense that needed juice on the edge. Plus, Fangio knows the guy's DNA better than anyone, and in Philly's system, even a partial return to form could tilt playoff games. When the stakes are high, it only takes 1 or 2 plays in order to tip the scales. The risk is very small on this one. Another strong move by Howie, adding a playmaker who can create off the edge. Tennessee Titans and Baltimore Ravens. Titans receive conditional 2026 5th round pick, can escalate to a 4th, and Ravens receive DL Draymond Jones. Tennessee Titans, grade C+. Well, no shocker here based on the disaster that has been the 2025 season. Tennessee sends Draymond Jones to Baltimore for a conditional 2026 5th that can climb to a 4th, freeing cap to feed a youth movement on the defensive side of the ball. Moving a solid but non-core rusher keeps the rebuild timeline clean and the books flexible, which is really all they can do at this point. It won't make fans happy, but for a franchise trying to hit reset without completely tanking, this is the slow burn version of progress. Baltimore Ravens, grade B+. It feels like just a couple of weeks ago that the Ravens season was on life support. But here we are, and Baltimore just keeps loading the clip, landing Jones on a conditional flyer. An excellent piece alongside Roquan Smith in that steadily improving secondary. More depth for a defense chasing a ring without mortgaging the future. Jones may not be a headline grabber, but in January, he could be just what they need in order to get over the hump. New York Jets and Indianapolis Colts. Jets receive 2026 and 2027 first-round picks, W.R. Adonai Mitchell, and Colts receive CB Sauce Gardner. New York Jets, grade C. Sorry, Jets fans, I know this one hurts, but on the bright side, packaging Sauce Gardner for 2026 and 2027 first, plus rookie wideout Adonai Mitchell, is ripping that band-aid off. But hey, it funds a full-scale reboot. Brutal? Absolutely. But the Jets clear future cap and secure premium picks for the next couple of drafts. Yeah, I get it, selling off your all-pro hurts, but franchises stuck in quicksand need to pick a direction, and, well, the Jets did. It's bold, it's uncomfortable, and it's exactly what the Jets needed to do. Rebuilds don't start with small talk. They start with big exits. Indianapolis Colts, grade A+. The rich just got richer. Sauce Gardner locking down one side while Kenny Moore the second slides back into the slot? That's just unfair. And with Charvarius Ward waiting in IR, this is about to be one of the stingiest secondaries in all of football. It's not just about this season either. This is a move that sets up a defensive core for years to come. For a 7-2 team already gunning for the AFC's top seed, Gardner is the ultimate luxury addition. A true lockdown corner, a tone setter, and a statement from a franchise saying, "We're not waiting, it is time to win now." This is really shaping up to be something special for Indy. New York Jets and Dallas Cowboys. Jets receive 2027 first-round pick, 2026 second-round pick, DT Motzie Smith, and Cowboys receive DT Quinnen Williams. New York Jets, grade C-. Moving Quinnen Williams for a 2027 first, a 2026 second, and defensive tackle Motzie Smith screams complete teardown. New York frees huge cap space and buys 2 premium swings at rebuilding the trenches, or at any of the other massive holes on their roster. Yeah, you'll lose your interior wrecking ball, so the defense dips, but the asset haul keeps the reset aligned with the Sauce deal. When you've been spinning in mediocrity this long, ripping it down to the studs is the only way to breathe again. It's painful, but hey, pain means progress. At least, that's what Jets fans will have to tell themselves. Dallas Cowboys, grade A. When Dallas shipped Micah Parsons to Green Bay in August, it drew a lot of ire. You just shouldn't give up a player of his caliber, at his age, pretty much ever. And as we've seen through the first chunk of the year, importing Kenny Clark was not the cure-all that Jerry Jones thought it would be. Not that anyone else really even agreed at the time, but whatever, I digress. But hey, now with Quinnen Williams in the mix, things get interesting again for the Cowboys. Massive price tag, massive payoff. Jerry, finally, has backed up the win now talk. The move is desperation and ambition in equal measure. But if it works, it rewrites the narrative of this entire season, especially with how sharp the offense has looked thus far in 2025. The Cowboys could have a real shot here. New York Jets and Los Angeles Chargers. Jets receive CB Jasir Taylor, and Chargers receive conditional 2028 7th-round pick. New York Jets, grade C-. Not every trade is a headline. Snagging Jasir Taylor for a conditional 2028 7th-round pick gives New York a cost-controlled option to add depth at corner following their blockbuster deal. No, he's not gonna replace Sauce, not even close. But he keeps the secondary functioning while draft capital is poured into the offense. This is the duct tape move of the rebuild. Cheap, reliable, and necessary. Los Angeles Chargers, grade B. This one made a lot of sense for LA. Flipping Taylor for a future chip was a low-profile move to keep the draft picks stocked up and allows them to free up some snaps for guys that are more aligned with the current system and scheme. Quietly, the Chargers made a couple of no-drama, forward-thinking decisions this week. And that is some growth for an organization that has historically been addicted to shooting itself in the foot. Las Vegas Raiders and Jacksonville Jaguars. Raiders receive 2026 4th and 6th-round picks, and Jaguars receive WR Jacoby Myers. Las Vegas Raiders, grade C-. By shipping Jacoby Myers for 2026 4th and 6th-round picks, Vegas swaps a steady route artisan for cap relief and draft picks. Admitting that year one of the Pete Carroll experience is nothing more than the bottom out of a rebuild. The Raiders might not be tearing it down, but they are certainly rearranging the furniture before the offseason. And with pretty good reason. This season has been a complete disaster, and while Jacoby is a very nice player, there is just no point in having him stick around for a rebuild. Jacksonville Jaguars, grade A-. Jacksonville needed a third down chain mover to make plays alongside Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, especially now that the latter is banged up and on the IR. Myers slides right in, wins contested throws, and keeps Trevor Lawrence's offense balanced, and helps tee the Jaguars up for what they hope to be their first playoff run in a few years. New Orleans Saints and Seattle Seahawks. Saints receive 2026 4th and 5th round picks, and Seahawks receive WR Rashid Shaheed. New Orleans Saints, grade B-. This one has to hurt for Saints fans because Rashid Shaheed was so fun to watch and becoming a favorite amongst the folks in the Big Easy. But now he heads to Seattle for 2026 4th and 5th rounders as New Orleans finally acknowledges its cap crunch. They stack affordable picks while leaning on Chris Olave and the tight ends to cover the explosive play void, though that doesn't really matter all that much in a lost season, much to the chagrin of whoever ends up playing quarterback for them for the remainder of the year. Seattle Seahawks, grade A. Seattle reunites Shaheed with coordinator Clint Kubiak, drops another burner next to Jackson Smith-Njigba and Cooper Kupp. So, with Sam Darnold's arm, we could see a completely supercharged offense, and Shaheed put up numbers that we haven't even dreamed of yet. With this move, Seattle has made a statement. They are here to compete in 2025. New Orleans Saints and Los Angeles Chargers. Saints receive a 2027 6th round pick, and Chargers receive OT Trevor Penning. New Orleans Saints, grade C. New Orleans cuts bait on Trevor Penning for a 2027 6th round pick as they continue to take chunks out of their cap sheet where they can. In the meantime, they'll patch the left side with veterans until they eventually draft his replacement. Admitting a mistake beats doubling down. It's a tough pill to swallow, but the Saints finally learn that they can't keep pretending like the cap doesn't matter and expect to get good players into the mix. Los Angeles Chargers, grade B+. Los Angeles grabs a former first-round mauler for pennies on the dollar and puts him in Harbaugh's system. Who knows exactly what'll happen here, but this one has some pretty exciting upside. Even if Penning becomes a jumbo 6th lineman or a right tackle project behind Rashawn Slater, the potential outweighs the 6th round ticket. The Chargers are quietly betting on themselves to get the best out of him, and it's refreshing to see them trust development. Cleveland Browns and Chicago Bears. Browns receive 2026 6th round pick, conditional 2026 7th round pick, and Bears receive edge Joe Tyron Shoyinka. Cleveland Browns, grade B. So, it wasn't the blockbuster deal that everyone thought it might be coming, but Cleveland did trade a defensive end this deadline. The Browns turned a rotational edge into a 2026 6th round pick plus a conditional 2026 7th, allowing them to stack some more draft assets to build towards the future. Let's just hope that they don't stack them together and take 3 more quarterbacks in next year's draft to add to the chaos. Chicago Bears, grade B+. Chicago has been on the upswing this year and just needed a little juice opposite Montez Sweat. And Tyron Shoyinka's length and athleticism combo is worth the mid-round gamble. Bears fans had to be excited to see the team active at the deadline, having an eye on the playoffs for once. Plus, the cost was very minimal. It's a subtle sign that the Bears believe that they're closer than people think. Moves like this mean that you see a window and you are ready to make a run at it. Cincinnati Bengals and Dallas Cowboys. Bengals receive 2026 7th round pick, and Cowboys receive LB Logan Wilson. Cincinnati Bengals, grade C+. This is one of those we'll see trades. The Bengals get younger, cheaper, and probably their defense gets even worse. Wilson's leadership and football IQ are gonna be missed, but the move frees up room to focus resources around Joe Burrow's protection and get younger on the defensive side of the ball. And with how pitiful that unit has been as a whole so far this year, making that trade-off just kinda makes sense. Painful short term, but you can see the logic. Dallas Cowboys, grade B+. Dallas doubles down on its defensive overhaul. They add a veteran linebacker who just fits perfectly behind their new-look defensive front. Wilson's instincts, his experience, his ability to lead, boom, all instant upgrades. This was a contender move. Recognize a weakness and throw resources at it. And they didn't just key in on the star acquisition. This was a great complementary play that could pay off down the stretch of this season. But which NFL trade deadline deal do you think is going to have the biggest impact on the rest of the 2025 season? What about going forward? What do you think of our grades here? Who do you think we're right on here? Who do you think we're wrong about? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.